Really sucks. What the fuck are you doing here? I thought you quit. You're back? Seriously? Okay, was not expecting this. I was completely unprepared. I mean, I could have dropped my drink and it would have ruined the carpet because, you know. Okay, let's do this. You know, prepare to be butthurt or something like that. Let's go. Since you're not a big huge fan of, you know, me getting suddenly incredibly loud, I'm going to progressively move myself closer and closer to the speaker. Hopefully you can read what this guy has to say and understand his point. The hatches that are on a lot of tanks for escaping are actually not very strong. I already knew this, but I wanted someone else to give me a second opinion. I don't want to be Captain Obvious or anything, but they don't take you very seriously, and they don't consider you very smart. Let's go with that. So a lot of the points that he's making are points that I've been making for a while now, just not as good. A lot of the modern tank guns are perfectly acceptable for what they're meant to be doing, and there's a reason why they're designed the way they are. It's not like the entire world is full of idiots. We do what we do for very specific reasons. And he has an incredibly decisive point to finish up with, and that's all there is to it. You're finished. And right when I thought the video was going to be done, it's going to be uploaded, this guy jumps in to tag team you. This is D, long censored area, space, L, long censored area. And he has a lot of really strong points. My computer's getting really hot. I think it's going to burst into flames. And frankly, I think I've realized at this point that there's not much we can really do for you. I'm not even sure if we can get you to compromise and agree that we're correct and Blacktail is equally correct. I think you're basically stuck at the point where you just think Blacktail's always right, no matter what we do. And I'm not sure why you picked him to be this impossible figure who's always right no matter how much evidence is stacked against him. It's really disturbing in my opinion. I'm sorry, we can't do anything. How is a person supposed to keep their cool when the person they're trying to have a discussion with is constantly using evidence against them as evidence for them? Like, I don't understand your chain of logic. When I made my own video on the King Tiger review versus the Abrams, I made a lot of points. I didn't do a fantastic job doing them because the entire video was so infuriating. It wasn't because it questioned America or anything like that. It was because he said 2 machine guns was better than 3. Because he said that a round from World War I was better than a round developed in the 40s and 50s. 7.92 will never be as good as 7.62. It has better propellant, better shape, so on and so forth. The Abrams has a 50 cal. It has a 50 cal. How do you top that with 7.92? And why is it better for a machine gun to fire 1,100 rounds a minute than 700, 800, 900, 650? Why? 1,100 is bullet hose. You don't want an assault rifle to fire like that. You don't want a general proposed machine gun to fire like that. You don't even want a freaking automatic handgun that's on a freaking stock and you got like 3 grips on the damn thing to fire that fast. That's ridiculous. You're just pissing away ammo at this point. This is like LOL mall tactical levels of like retardation. 1,100 is really, really bad. I cannot stress that enough. And like, I don't understand why you think the Abrams is so unreliable when it doesn't really matter, because you can just swap out the engine in 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes. And gassing the thing up is really easy too. The King Tiger was given better ratings in multiple categories in that video that I had to look over and review myself. And it didn't make any sense because, one, he didn't adjust for inflation. The King Tiger was developed decades and decades and decades and decades and decades ago, and he didn't adjust for inflation at all. He didn't account that the King Tiger was just scalpeled together in a couple of years or a couple months. Probably a couple months. They probably acted like it was longer than it really was because they're Nazis. And the Abrams was tested and prototyped and tested and prototyped and tested and prototyped until they got what they wanted, which is what they have currently for the most part. Another thing that drives me absolutely crazy is the German military was so outdated and so backwards back then, but for some reason Blacktail thinks that the King Tiger ties with the Abrams. Like, everything you have wrong with the engine, it could have been fixed. We could have fixed it like 10, 15 years ago. We just don't have the money to do it because Congress will not approve the engine being replaced. Why? Because according to Congress, the engine does not affect the combat capabilities of the tank. If it did, they would replace it, but it doesn't. They approved changing the ammo over and over again. They approved changing the gun once. They approved changing the software. They approved upgrading the armor, and they budgeted and paid for all of this. But the engine does not give enough capability improvement to warrant additional cost. The Abrams is exactly the way it is because of testing, because of experience, and because of budgeting. It cannot be fixed or improved in any way at the moment unless a terrible war happens and we start throwing a ton of money at the tank and start adding things to it it theoretically does not really need. I mean, what would you have us do? Start shoving freaking Kodiak 5 on it? The armor's so good, it's already better than Kodiak 5. Why would it need Kodiak 5? Also, if it has Kodiak 5, then how are we going to add Tusk 2 on top of it? You know, the curved, non-reactive armor? How are we going to add that? It won't fit on top. It'll have to be completely redesigned. Also, weight problems, expense problems, updation problems. This could literally go on all day. I don't know what to tell you. Seriously.